Hello and welcome to my first official live stream on this channel. I hope you're having a great evening on your side of the world. Please just give me a moment as I double check all the technology is working. And it'll just take me a moment. Sometimes I have to close it out and reopen it. Um, so I just want to make sure the sound's working and the chat's working. I do see it here, so let me just do a sound check. Great, that's working. So hello. And let me just pull my chair in a bit here. All right, and let me put some yarn for you to look at. So I wrote myself some notes because I'm neurodivergent and my mind seems to wander, but I wanted to do a bit of an intro for this first live stream. I did do a brief live stream a few days ago on this channel, but it was almost like a test live stream because I was working through the YouTube settings and I was trying to get it set up to live stream on this channel. And it was a bit unexpected. I use Prism to live stream, so seeing the option pop up to live stream from this channel while we're at the horse class, the horse lesson, was a little bit unexpected. So it kind of threw me off. I had my mic, I had my knitting to show, but kind of right as I started, the trainer came around and was giving instructions, and I didn't want to like start speaking and interrupt him. So it's just basically a silent live stream, not showing any knitting or anything. So let me show this little swatch here. So I started on YouTube in October of 2022 with my main channel Spoon, which some of you may know. I published my first video within 3 weeks on October 20th of 2022, and I started live streaming April 2nd, 2023. Between starting videos and starting to live stream, I went on a few panels of the community I was involved in at the time, and I had, well, up to date, I've uploaded about 600 videos in total, 400 of which are live streams. But about a year ago, I kind of stepped back from YouTube and I've had some time to think about what I've been doing on YouTube and what I want to do on YouTube. So, a little bit about me is my mother's Canadian and my father's American, and I was born in Canada and I have dual citizenship. My husband is an immigrant from Czechoslovakia. And when he was 11 years old, he moved to the US with his family, his parents, and his siblings. Him and I met in high school, and we've lived in Japan for about a little over 6+ years. We have 2 teenage children still at home. I learned to sew and crochet at about age 5. My mom was a seamstress, and she loved to make all my Halloween costumes. She loved to crochet. That was my mom's main hobby. Like her main joy was crochet. And she loved to make blankets with red heart yarn. And I didn't really love to crochet. I knew how, but it wasn't a passion that kind of bit into me. I knew how to do it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't really for me. I taught myself to knit in the year about 2001 from a website called knittinghelp.com. I was living in Canada where there's long winters, and I taught myself to knit from the website knittinghelp.com, which is a free website that has videos teaching how to knit. It kind of led me down a road of developing a passion for wool, for the fiber wool. And I loved knitting socks. The whole reason why I learned to knit is I wanted to learn to knit socks. And if you have any experience with knitting and crochet, you know that sometimes crochet socks can be kind of thick. And I think that's why I wanted to learn to knit. I had an interest in history, medieval history, Civil War history, and I wanted to just knit like historical socks. And that's what led me into knitting. One of my biggest influences is Elizabeth Zimmerman, rest in peace to her. And I learned to spin in 2008, spin wool. And I really enjoyed spinning. I think if I were to like label like what is truly like my most satisfying joy. It's spinning, but I haven't been spinning a lot because in my previous residence, I had like a set up designated place to sit and spin and watch movies and kind of, like a place to do it and a time to do it. Where knitting is more of a portable craft. So since I've been here in Japan, I've just been mostly knitting. In 2008, it was a big year for us. We built a cabin. I started a hobby yarn dye business in addition to having a full time job. I attended events as a vendor, such as Sock Summit, which was an event hosted by, not really hosted by, but initiated by a blogger named the Yarn Harlot and her best friend, the dye work artist for Blue Moon Fiber Arts. So I attended that event as a vendor and as a teacher. I taught a couple classes at that event. I went to Stitches West, where I met Anna Zilberg in person, who was an amazing woman. I believe she's passed on. She was quite older when she was there. She writes books about mittens, and she was very fascinating to me because she lived in a small cabin in the woods, and I lived in a small cabin in the woods. I met Barbara Walker. I met a lot of established knitwear designers that are part of the history of the knitting industry. I met Lucy Neatby and I took a lot of classes. So I went to events like Stitches West, Madrona Fiber Arts Festival, which is in the Seattle area. I attended a ton of classes over the years at that event. I went to Oregon Flock and Fiber Festival, again, as a vendor, as taking classes. And then I traveled to events. I went to Teos Wool Festival in New Mexico. Where I did not go was Rhinebeck. I've never been to Rhinebeck. I lived in the area for 3 years, but I've never been to Rhinebeck. By the time I moved to the area of Rhinebeck, I was feeling a lot of social anxiety about traveling, going out, meeting people. And so I became too intimidated to go to Rhinebeck Wool Festival, which is one of the regrets I have. And maybe someday I'll get there. So during this time, I wrote patterns. I tried a bunch of different fibers. I learned so much. I tried different tools. And it was just a whole experience that shaped my early 20s and onward. One of the goals that I have for kind of moving over to this channel and kind of becoming more established on this channel, because my previous channel, well, it's not previous because it's still there. My spoon channel is a variety of content. It's kind of my journey of learning YouTube, learning video editing, learning kind of about myself. And here on this channel, I want to make it specifically a focus on a legacy. I want to leave a legacy that reflects on who I am, what I contribute, and what's important to me. And obviously, I love to knit, and we're going to look at a couple knitting items here soon. And I love everything related to knitting, to wool, and I like to read, and I like books. I like growing plants, especially fruit trees. I'm into politics and human rights. I like cooking and food, and especially vegan type foods. I love nature and science. And just like my previous channel, this channel, so my previous channel has about 3,600 subscribers. This channel, just like it, will not be monetized. My channels are not monetized. So YouTube really pushes that goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers so you could get monetized. I never monetized my spoon channel. So I reached up, I think at max, I reached about 3,800 subscribers. And then because I faded off this past year, the numbers kind of dropped a bit. YouTube automatically drops your, it doesn't matter. YouTube's strange that way. But I never monetized that channel. And this channel, I'll never monetize. I'm not about chasing subs or chasing views or chasing the clicks or like that promotion stuff. I'm here to make the content and to be present and to leave a legacy from the videos and items I make. Some of my shorts that I've been making, which is kind of my theme that I want to do now, is I just want to make shorts. If you can't say what you need to say in 60 seconds or 3 minutes, then it's kind of just dragging on and on and on. So I love the shorts format because it kind of really pushes you to kind of confine within that time limit. So some of my shorts do say to subscribe, but it's really just to maintain the minimum of live streaming because there is an aspect to YouTube about live streaming that I love. I love connecting with an audience and or just talking to someone. Living in a foreign country, I don't have many opportunities to kind of have conversations in English with other adults that also speak English. So I don't need a big audience in my chat. I found through my experience with being neurodivergent that I prefer a smaller audience that I can interact with. My live streams will be absolutely whimsical, unplanned. They'll pop up on random days because I have no set schedule. There won't be a specific day or a specific time that I'll live stream. I'll just be here. But unlike my previous live streams, if you know me from my other channel that would go for 4, 5, 6 hours, I don't plan to hang around on long, intensive 4, 5, 6 hour live streams. I just want to kind of check in, say hello. How are you all doing? Here's the projects I'm working on. I hope you're having a great day. Maybe we talk about a little something that's going on in our world these days, but they're going to be kind of short and to the point, and we all can get on with our day and go hang out in other chats and some of those other live streamers that maybe have longer sessions. And I want to support all of those live streamers out there, especially in this, it's kind of an ironic term, in this tight knit community. So all the yarning related content, I want to make sure that we support everyone and the endeavors they're doing. And there's lots of things in this community we're going to disagree on, but there's a commonality that we all love this fiber craft. And I think that's important to recognize. So on my channel, there will never be anything for sale. I'm not here to sell you yarn, or at least not my yarn. I like here, I'm showing you yarn from Fiber Optics yarn. This is the Heaven Worset, which is this ball right here that I balled up. It's a 75% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, 10% silk, 205 yards. This is the color of cerulean blue, which is kind of a theme I got going on right now. But this isn't my yarn to sell to you. This is just me telling you what I've bought and I'm enjoying. I knit a little swatch here and where to find it if you were interested in it. I'm not sponsored by them or supported by them. I just go and spend my money there. So I'm not here to sell you anything. And there might be some point where I might do giveaways, but I don't really like going to the post office. And I especially don't like going to the post office in the summertime because it's way too hot and humid in Japan. And I am not I'm the biggest post office procrastinator, and I'm not reliable for going to the post office. If I tell you I'm going to mail you something, I will, but I'll be there when I get there, sort of thing. And hi, Sunshine, good to see you. Hi, Coconut, good to see you. Yes, so Sunshine, great question about the unicorn cards. I looked for my unicorn cards before I started this live stream. I have 2 packs of them somewhere. I can't find them. So I ordered a 3rd pack. They'll be here in a bit. So we'll definitely be doing the magic unicorn cards. But I just want this to be a safe space for everyone. And my note to myself was to have a little pride flag to wave at this moment, but I forgot that. I don't come super planned to these live streams. They just sort of happen. But I want this to be considered a place where we sit, we have a cup of tea together, and just pretty much welcome to my space. So here we go. Here we go. I found it nearby really quick. So this is a safe space. And there's no mods here. We're all adults. I don't wrench people up. I don't get into that. I can watch my chat. If there's a problem, I can deal with it. If there's words being used in my chat, I can add them to my banned word list. I'm pretty familiar with YouTube. And if there are people because this has happened in my previous chats and something I've struggled with a lot. If there are people arguing in my chat, having a disagreement, sometimes you gotta allow the space for people to work that out and not intervene. What happens sometimes in these YouTube spaces is people have conflict, people in the chat, and then they don't have a way to communicate with each other. So I have found that providing a chat for people to communicate with each other, even if it's angrily with each other, sometimes work out whatever they need to work out. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's not. But I'm not into this whole blocking, timing people out, having mods, controlling the chat. As long as you're following the YouTube's terms of service, we're good. We're good. And if you're using questionable words in my chat that, I should put on a ban list, then I'm going to put them on my ban list. If you're causing a consistent problem, then yeah, I'm going to kick you out of my house. That's what I consider my YouTube channel is my house. And if I'm not your cup of tea, move along. Find your joy elsewhere. We're living through times that silence is compliance. And that is very important to me. So I want to show you some things I'm working on, and then I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to put on my glasses, though, at this point. And I do see you guys here in the chat. Sunshine's happy about unicorn cards. Let me set my chat somewhere where I can see it now because my notes were taking up the space. So this here that I'm showing is, again, fiber optics yarn. I showed the label a bit, but I'm going to show it again. Fiber optics yarn, Heaven worsted. It is a 70% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, 10% silk, 205 yards. I also have another skein, which I'll show, which is their sport weight, which is what I'm working with. And then this little ball here is their cashmere mini, which is just 30 yards. So what I love about fiber optics yarns is you can order a little mini skein and see if that's the color you're looking for. Now, while I was trying to find this kind of shade of blue, I also ordered this yarn from Darama, which is a very popular Japan brand. So this is a very soft superwash merino. It's a little bit duller because it doesn't have the silk, but it's pretty much the same shade. So while I was waiting for this yarn to come from the US, I ordered this one from Japan. And just going to set those aside and pull out the project I'm working on, just so you can see it. I have two projects I'm working on. One I haven't taken any photos of or shown, and the other one I'm doing like a little piece by piece, go write it as I go pattern. So we'll show that one first. So this is the little pattern or project I'm working on, and I meant to work on it a bit last night. This is a mitten that I'm working on. I really love mittens, and in fact, I put my little channel tagline of everyone's gonna need mittens in the apocalypse. Kind of made me laugh. Maybe no one else laughed, but it made me laugh, and that's what we have our own channels for, is to amuse ourselves, I guess. So I'm at the point where I just finished the thumb gusset and joined the yarn back in the round, and so I'm just knitting the hand part here. And so see, I could try it on here. So see, my thumb sticks out there. And so we're at the point of just knitting the hand and then do the reductions for the end here. So this is listed in my shorts as a free pattern that I'm posting shorts as I progress. And then I'll put it all together in kind of one final pattern as the end, but I'm kind of writing it as I go. So that's one project I'm working on. And then the other project I'm working on that I haven't shown. So if you don't know, I'm political. I can't help myself. I try. But and if your politics don't agree with my politics, that's okay. We can disagree. We can agree to disagree. But one of the things that I've been following in the news was what was going on in Minnesota. And one of the things that kind of came out of what was going on in Minnesota was knitters kind of united and made a pattern called Melt the Ice Hat. And was a bit of argument online about whether it was performative or not. But as of a couple days ago, the pattern had raised over $700,000 donated to good causes. There's a whole list they posted of where they donated. And I don't think raising $700,000 is performative. So, based on the Melt the Ice hat, I started a Melt the Ice mitten with these two colors of yarn. And this is opal yarn, which is one of my favorites to knit with. Sunshine, if you're still in my chat, I knit your mittens out of this opal yarn. Opal is like my standby workhorse yarn, and it is one of the most common yarns you can get here in Japan. It's very interesting because it's not produced in Japan, it's produced in Europe. But it's one of the most common yarns you could get here in Japan in all their colorways. So I started this. This is called helix knitting, which is where the colors alternate every other row. And you do that by kind of knitting in a circle is a spiral. So it's like the two colors are constantly chasing each other. And you switch off the color about 3 stitches before the previous color. And that's how you could kind of keep the spiral going. So this is my Melt the Ice mittens, which I'm just making up. I have basically a standard mitten pattern in my head, and I base it off a gauge swatch, which is why for the blue one, I made this gauge swatch so I can measure it. And I have a gauge swatch for this red one as well. I made a gauge swatch for that too, which I don't have the gauge swatch in my bag, but it's round. But I made a gauge swatch and then did the mathematics to make the pattern in my brain to make this mitten. So that's also kind of a project I'm working on the side. And then I kind of got a little pile here beside my desk that I'll talk about. Let me just get a couple things here put away, and then I'll wrap up. I hope you all are having an amazing day. Hello there, Susan K. Good to see you. So let me just get those things put away. So Sunshine, if you're still hanging here, you might remember my book from last year. This is a Nobuhochi. I even forget the word. Anyways, it's a Japanese journal. And last year I filled it full of stickers and notes on reading, like what books I was reading. I found this really cool like stamp, and then filled it with stickers and all my readings that I was doing. And it's done. So it ended just a couple days ago. Here we are. Here's March. I think it goes a couple more days into March and maybe into like the first couple days of April. So it's over. So I ordered this year's online yesterday. I wanted the color strawberry milk pink, but it was sold out. And usually when something sells out, that's the end of it. So I ordered a bright yellow one for this next year. So I have a whole new journal coming that I'm going to fill with stickers and notes and all kinds of wonderful things. And then for some reason, I have a pile of knitting needles here on my side desk. So this is what you need when you're swatching. You need a good sampling of needles to try different swatches. So I have a good sampling of needles here, and I have bought a couple balls of this, but I just can't help acquiring more if I see them. This is opal, so like the red on the red mitten that I showed, that same brand, opals. And this is their colorway called Magic Unicorn. See the unicorn on the front right there. So this is their colorway called Magical Unicorn. Sunshine has a little bit of this yarn in her mittens that I made for her, like just at the tip, because that's when they came. And I think I started something else with another ball that I have, but I saw this on Amazon Japan just recently, and I ordered myself another ball of it, and I might start something with it. I find that this blue here matches well with the blue that's in it. So I'm not sure. We'll see. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Let's see. Thank you, everyone. Am I getting new stickers? So, Sunshine, I don't know if you remember where we kind of left off, but I had a bunch of stickers I sorted, and I sorted out some for you, and they're still sitting on my shelf because I lost this whole last year. I just lost it with the things going on, with the military move, with my daughter's health. I just lost a whole year, a little over a year. Now, a little update on that. She's doing well. Our military move we ended up staying in Japan, but it was back and forth for a long time. We had a move date. We were getting ready to get the movers to come in and pack. It was so chaotic that I even forgot to cancel our appliance pickup. So we found out like a week before we were going to move that we weren't going to move. And we were staying in Tokyo at a hotel for one of my daughter's treatments. And they just called us and, like, hey, so you know how you were going to move next week? Well, now you're not. And I was like, okay, wow. Well, when we get home, okay, we'll work that out. But by the time I got home, I forgot to call and cancel the appliance pickup. So on the date they were supposed to come, they knocked on the door and they're like, hey, we're here to pick up your appliances. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. We aren't moving. So that went on for months and months because it was back and forth with a bunch of different factors. But it has worked out that we are here in Japan for at least the next 3 years. So hooray. And I just realized I want to show something else. You think we've all lost a year? Possibly, possibly. So you can't see it all on the live stream. Let me just fold it. This is a beautiful little handkerchief that I tracked down because of someone on social media named Park Rose Permaculture, she's a knitter, but she does a lot of political activism. And she was wearing this scarf in one of her videos. So I tracked down where to find it and buy it. And I have it hanging here just at my desk, and it just brings me happiness. It helps me remember what's important to me because I think we're all living through challenging times. And, some of us, you have to take what little joys you can find, like your peace within yourself. So for me, that's writing knitting patterns, knitting things with yarn, just taking a step back and finding my own peace within myself. And I think that's what I'm going to wrap up with you guys all on. I hope you have an amazing evening on your side of the world. Again, I don't know when I'll live stream again, but I plan to only be live streaming from this channel. I at least want to try to show at least one thing knitting related during the live stream in whatever way that I can, and just kind of try to keep myself grounded and connected. And I hope you all find what keeps you grounded and connected. Until next time, I'll see you then.